Hi there, welcome to Terrorland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Cancer energy, and like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Cancer energy, and the bottom row is a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy, because we have free will, so does everyone else, and we got to make decisions in our life, and we can all be influenced by our more worldly nature, which can be our more just fear and insecurity and self-limiting beliefs and don't want to do life differently, stay in our comfort zone, but it can also be our more immature, prideful, egotistical, codependent nature. The list goes on. And we've got to work through all those things if we're going to move forward in life differently than we have been. And we got to do this debate within ourselves. And so some people might be debating within themselves, but some other people, other people in your life, they might have moved on in life, got over that debate within themselves, and they're moving forward in life differently than they were before. And sometimes when some people are ready to move forward in life differently, other people aren't. Life's about learning lessons, and we're ready, we're all on our own journey. So you might be moving forward differently in relationship to some other people. Other people might be moving forward differently than you are. High vibe energy would be letting love and intuition guide your decisions than making decisions more out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego. And some people do align with their more worldly nature. What drives them, motivates them, is being more about themselves, indulging in things of the world to make them happy, or making their life more about money and materialism and status and ego and image. And we just need to see the truth of it, because the truth sets us free. If you harness some high vibe Cancer energy, you'd want to be in a relationship with other people who do too. And we all tap into Cancer energy, just like all the other zodiac signs. And we either harness it in a high vibe way, a more worldly way, or a more shadowy way. And we just need to see the truth about different people in our life. If it's friends and family members, acquaintances, doesn't really matter. You're not being in a more involved relationship with them anyway. They can live their life whatever way they want. But if it's a romantic relationship, that's a little different. Then you want to be on the same page. So let's go see what's going on. The reason for the top row's reading is the contract represented by the scales of justice. It's the reason why the reading came out. There could be different people in your life. Some of you could have dealt with a Libra. Others of you could have dealt with people that you thought would be more on the same page as you of what you thought was just and fair. And you could have kind of realized that what you think is just and fair is different. And the reason for the bottom row's reading is the man holding a heart. The way I read tarot is that the masculine figures can represent how people present themselves in the world. This is someone, whether they are male or female, because when we present ourselves in the world is considered masculine energy. And then the feminine figures would kind of indicate how we really think and feel. So there's some people in the world who present themselves as harnessing, this would be like the King of Cups. I view the King of Cups as Cancer energy. Some people are going through a transition period to love and believe in themselves, to take action, to move forward in life differently, learning to love themselves. Other people kind of try to present themselves as harnessing high vibe Cancer, so people will get in a relationship with them, but it's really not the truth of who they are. So let's go look at the bottom row. You could know some people that you love, but they're just not ready to look at life differently and live their life the way they want to live it. We have a card not showing itself. Then we have financial constraints, brokenhearted, thinking man, and envy. So some people are more aligned with their worldly nature, living more from their mind than their heart. They could be, the envy card is our shadowy nature. It can be our more competitive nature in the world. We're competing in the world. We want to have more than some other people want. And you could have gotten in relationships with some people, and we can all get in a relationship because we kind of feel left out in the cold and heartbroken. And we can have that hopeful, believing spirit, especially if people present themselves as like a loving person. And then as time goes by, we could come to realize the truth that what more drives and motivates them is maybe they could have gotten in the relationship just because of feeling heartbroken and feeling left out in the cold. And getting in the relationship with you wasn't really for love. It could have been, it was good for their ego and their image. It made it look like they moved on. Um, make them look like a more loving person than maybe other people had viewed them, you know? Sometimes people get in relationships with loving people so other people view them as loving, but it can be more for their ego and their image. But you could have gotten in some relationships with some people and you could have realized with this card not showing itself that you harness this energy differently. Hostilities, which is kind of like the Five of Swords. One person could have been kind of more mad and wanted to get back at someone else when they got in a relationship, and you weren't mad. You know, you might have had some mental conflict, but if you had hope and faith and belief in love, you know, something didn't work out the way that you wanted. You wanted a dream to come into reality with someone and it didn't, and you could have felt a little left out in the cold and heartbroken, but you still had hope and faith and belief in love. And the envy card could kind of be like the Seven of Swords, where, you know, even though the past situation didn't work out, you still have hope and faith and belief in your dreams, still listening to your intuition, believing in love, getting in another relationship, hoping that with that relationship, it goes to the next level. And then we start out with the journey card, the fifth chakra, anxiety, the first chakra, which is hoping that when we get in a new relationship, that we're going to go on this journey together in truth and justice and fairness and love. And the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, is Taurus energy, that we're kind of on the same page. We think we both have the same philosophy of life, that yes, other situations that been involved in didn't work out. Yeah, we had to move on from that. Yeah, we're a little heartbroken, but we still have hope and faith and belief in love. But then with the anxiety card is kind of like an 8 or 9 of swords, and the thinking man is kind of like the king of swords. One person, again, the 8 and 9 and 10 of swords is Gemini energy, which talks about our dualistic nature. Some people had hope and faith and belief in love still. Other people could have decided in their free will that they wanted to live more from their mind than their heart from now on, because that other situations in their life hadn't worked out. And it could have been more because they were mad that someone else didn't stay in a relationship with them, or just that they like to live more from their mind than their heart. And then we kind of find out that our dreams are different. You know, I had things that didn't work out the way I wanted, but that didn't mean I gave up on love. And we can get in relationships with other people and find out they kind of did give up on love. And now they have all this mental conflict. They might present themselves as loving, but they really don't want to authentically, emotionally invest in going on a journey of love, because in their Taurus philosophy of life and free will, they chose to be defensive to love from now on. But anybody can wear a mask of, oh no, I'm like Justin Fair. I've healed, I've grown, I've matured. I believe in love, but do they really? And sometimes we can be in relationships with people for a long time before we realize that truth. And above that is kind of the first chakra, which does talk about the foundation we build our life on. And it can take a long time of being in a relationship with someone to realize the truth of really what drives and motivates them. It's more about them. It's more about being defensive. It's more about being in a relationship for these things of the world, so we look like we have what other people have in the world, versus really being authentic and honest and just and fair and loving. And in the contract, you know, really treating other people the way you like to be treated. And if other people are being open and authentic and loving, and they've kind of worked through these issues of their past to still choose love, they want to be in relationships with other people who choose love. And then some of the people who are defensive, who could think, this is my philosophy of life. I don't authentically want to do love. I want to present myself as loving, live more from my mind than my heart, my more defensive nature. And then when they get in relationships with people and the other people have worked through either before they got in the relationship with them or during the course of the relationship, those people did this work to work through their fears and insecurities to get back down to like that hopeful believing nature and to still be willing to do love and also listen to their intuition instead of getting caught up in their head and their fears and their insecurities. And when other people do that work, other people can be mad because if they like to live more from their mind than their heart, they could have thought you viewed life the same way and that you would keep staying in a relationship with them, because I think we tend to view other people and think that they think like we think. And if that's how they live their life, and the financial constraints is like the Five of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy, just like the throat chakra card, they just thought you viewed life the way they did. And they thought you'd maybe be willing to keep staying in a relationship with them. But again, it's kind of more like enjoying yourself in a relationship, indulging yourself in the relationship, putting in work and effort to have these things of the world that make it look like you've gotten justice in the world. And they could be okay with that type of relationship. But you could have ended up finding it a little more emotionally shallow and superficial. And, maybe in the envy card, it's just kind of realizing this isn't my truth. And maybe I wasn't realizing that we had this different way of viewing life. And this isn't my truth. And I feel like it's causing me a lot of mental conflict because I really am motivated and inspired by love. I thought they would be motivated and inspired by love. But when it got to that point in the relationship where you kind of have to deal with that core foundational truth, some people could have had a lot of fear and insecurity of really being more authentic and vulnerable in the relationship. And that's when they could have decided that they didn't really want to keep moving forward in the relationship with you. Because at a core foundational level, they'd have to deal with that inner conflict they have about having hope and faith and belief in love and in themselves, and work through all these different thoughts in their head that make them defensive to maybe even being more balanced within themselves. They'd have to offset their own fears, their own insecurities, their own self-limiting beliefs, their past pain and heartbreak. They'd have to work through those things to move forward with you in a more just and fair way. And that takes work and effort. And some people could just think, I don't think I should have to do that. you know, uh, I'll let you go. I might be kind of mad. I might be kind of jealous that you did the work within yourself so you're not manipulated by maybe some of the things that used to manipulate you. Or I just thought you'd stay in the relationship because I do present myself as loving to you and when we go out in the world. And they think you should be okay with the relationship, even though it is maybe more superficial and shallow, because they're operating from their egoic nature than their more authentic nature. And then they could be mad that you weren't willing to do a relationship like that. But the problem is, if you have worked through those issues to be open to giving and receiving love, and you're not triggered in your defensiveness or creating an illusion, trying to live more from your mind than your heart, you're not in a relationship with someone who's on the same page as you, but they get to be more defensive, but be in a relationship with someone who's open to giving and receiving love. And you can see kind of where the imbalance and injustice is, you know? It's kind of like, I get to be defensive to be with a loving person, but a loving person is with a more defensive person, or more competitive person, or more motivated by things of the world. But yet they get to be in a relationship with someone who has that hopeful, believing spirit who does love. It's unfair. So some other people could be realizing in their life how they've kind of been manipulated by their worldly nature and their mind and their competitive nature. And if some of those people are willing to do this work within themselves, then some of those people will also go on this journey about maybe really thinking about what the truth is of how they really want to live their life and how they've been letting the world, other people, past pain and heartbreak, their fears or insecurities run their life. And they'll really give a lot of thought to what kind of foundations they also want to be in moving forward. And, hopefully we'll have more people that get more balance within themselves, offset their more worldly, defensive, immature nature with their hopeful, believing, loving nature. And hopefully more people in the world would move forward in a more balanced way than tipped out of balance. And I think as some of you got out of some jobs, friendships, or relationships, or just kind of, knew who should stay in the friend zone and, and as you're moving forward with the throat chakra, that you're speaking your truth in love, because high vibe Gemini of the 8, 9, and 10 of swords is about love and telling people, the lessons that you've learned and how you could have overcome some situations in your life and how you've learned to love yourself and be more balanced within yourself. And those are the type of people you want to move forward with. There could be some people in your life that are going to move forward with you in this way. Friends, family, coworkers, whoever. There could be other people who could be stressed. We could maybe look at the first chakra as like having a new beginning, building a new foundation with someone. There might be some people who come in trying to stop you from having a new beginning with someone else because they want to be a person to indulge in a relationship with you, but they also could be someone who your intuition could tell you after you talk with them that they're operating again from a different foundation than you are. And now that you've kind of learned these lessons in life and you've also learned to listen to your intuition and kind of get caught up in, I want to go indulge in that. Even though you could have some love for people, it's like if we're not operating from the same foundation, it's going to be a repeat of an old relationship. I need people who are not wanting to be in a relationship with me out of their fear or insecurity, or because people that are more on the same page as them, it didn't work out and they're heartbroken. But that is the truth of, they just need to go find someone else who's more on the same page as them. And if there's people who you do feel tell you the truth and they are operating from the same foundation as you, then those are the people you're going to move forward with because you're ready to kind of not wanting to repeat this old pattern where people are kind of wearing a false mask. People haven't learned to love and believe in themselves. People haven't healed from past pain and heartbreak. People are more like, this makes logical, practical sense. This would look good for me. It's like, I don't want someone to be in a relationship with me because that makes logical, practical sense. That would look like I've moved on. That would look like I'm a loving person. They're a loving person. But at a core foundational level, they're really wanting to repeat this old pattern because that's really the truth of what drives and motivates them. So it's only to keep moving forward with people who really are on the same foundation as you. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy that they might not see coming? Some people won't go on this journey because it would require them to speak their truth. And Some people aren't willing to do that. Some people would have to work through the fears and insecurities they have, and they don't want to do that, or at least not choosing to do it now. So we just need to accept the truth of it. The people who are kind of motivated and inspired to work together with us would communicate with us, and Taurus energy is earth sign energy, about putting in work and effort. And the people who aren't doing that, we might assume they still have some issues to work through. In the meantime, we wish them peace, and we keep maintaining balance within ourselves and moving forward. What's coming up that the high vibe people might not see coming? The Nine of Pentacles and the Justice card. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. So the Nine of Pentacles is Virgo energy. You did this work within yourself to love and believe in yourself, to stand up kind of for what you believe in and what you think is just and fair. And, at a core foundational level of what you believe in. And, we build foundations with other people from that foundation. And you're not willing to work on, moving forward in a relationship if at a core foundational level, you're not building it from truth and love. Because otherwise, people are trying to build it from fear, insecurity, lust, greed, codependency, something. And that's an unstable foundation. So you did this work within yourself to get balance within yourself. Why? Because in the Six of Cups, Scorpio energy, emotional water sign energy, you offered love to the situation and to yourself. To be inspired, the Journey card is kind of like the Eight of Wands to wrap your brain around this game of life. Higher learning and education. What is my truth? Do I think I deserve to be in just and fair relationships? Do I think I deserve to treat myself in a just and fair way? Do I treat myself like being a good parent to myself? We have our more worldly, immature nature. We have to learn to be a good parent to our inner child nature, to love it, being like our own best mother, father, coach voice, and having good self-discipline within ourselves, because otherwise our more immature, worldly, immature nature kind of runs our life, and our ego nature, and our fear, and all that stuff. And you did this work to appreciate and love yourself, to get balance within yourself, to reconcile yourself with these different relationships you've known in your life, and just to see the truth of it, that everybody's where they're at. Everybody has their idea of what they think is just and fair and what drives and motivates them and how they want to live their life. And we don't have to take it personally. We get to have our ego about it. Okay, so they're more motivated by this. They're more looking at life from this perspective. If we were on the same page, we'd probably be working together cooperatively in a loving relationship. But I have my truth and what I think is just and fair, and how I view life, and how I view relationships, and how I think people should conduct themselves in a relationship, and everyone else has their idea. And if we were on the same page, we'd probably still be working together. But we're not. Some people still haven't learned to love themselves. Some people still have past pain and heartbreak. Some people feel more safe not connecting in with their more emotional nature. We're emotionally complex human beings. It can be confusing. Some people decide, I don't want to deal with my emotional nature as little as possible. I prefer to live more from my mind than my heart. They could be kind of jealous and envious of people who are more connected in with their emotions and their intuition. But until they're willing to work through why they don't maybe work more cooperatively with people in relationships, be more open with people in relationships, be willing to do more deep, meaningful relationships, they're not going to. And people have the free will in their more egoic nature to be in shadowy energy of pettiness, envy, jealousy. They have the free will to do that if they want to live their life like that. And some people do. What's coming up? Oh, and I think as you do this, other people are going to see that you're stable, you're grounded, you're self aware, you're not living in fantasy land and illusion and denial. You've done this work to get to the truth, to be more balanced within yourself instead of tipped out of balance and indulging yourself or other people in poor behavior. And people know that they could be in a deep, meaningful relationship with you. They just have to work through their fears of being in that energy themselves. And I think some people will do it. And those will be the people who are operating from the same foundation as you, that as you're moving forward, will present themselves to you and say that they think they're on the same page as you. What's coming up for some people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy, who, for now anyway, think it's safer to just use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship instead of really doing love. What do they not see coming? The Six of Cups. Why? Because of the Ace of Pentacles. So when people kind of act in some shadowy ways in a relationship, they're going to have some people in their life that harness high vibe Scorpio energy, who want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. And some of these people could be repeating an old pattern. And again, we'll keep repeating an old pattern of way of viewing life, living life, acting, by the things that we're motivated and inspired by, until we learn the lessons we're meant to learn. And then we'll kind of quit, offer love to that way of living life, and we go on this new journey to face our fears, to believe that we are ready to move forward in life. But some of these people keep repeating this old pattern that some other people have already been there and done that. Like, oh yeah, I was immature and impulsive before. Yeah, I felt in my lack mentality. Had these issues from my past that made me heartbroken. you know but other people that they might try to get in a relationship with have already worked through some of those issues, so those things still don't kind of trigger them or keep them repeating old patterns. They've kind of freed themselves from it. And eventually some of the people in their life who have been trying to offer them truth and love and resources to help them, because they want to be in a relationship with them, they want it to move forward. Eventually they see the truth. I can't make someone do that work within themselves. It's our Virgo energy that goes within to deal with the truth, to look at those things we kind of prefer to keep hidden in the dark. And this is a person inside their castle emotionally. It's dark. And they look out to people who are in the light, which could even just people who have more hope and faith and belief and love than them, are maybe more willing to step out their comfort zone than them, kind of step into the spotlight of their own life. And that's a process of becoming too. I mean, it's hard enough learning to love yourself and not like belittle and berate yourself and all that stuff. And then to be more authentically yourself in the world. High vibe Nine of Pentacles is being more independent in the world, not letting your fear and your ego and other people in your life and the world kind of manipulate and control you. I'm going to go live my authentic life. I'm going to step out into the sunlight, be my authentic self in the world. And there's other people that aren't willing to be more authentically themselves yet in the world. And some of them may never do that. And if some of those people have some people in their life that have been trying to move things forward in a relationship, some of those people are going to move on. Because these people keep repeating some old pattern that makes people kind of feel left out in the cold and heartbroken in a relationship with them. Because either they present themselves as loving, but it's more of a mental construct. It's not like genuine. It doesn't come from within themselves naturally. It's kind of like a role they play. And they could maybe be kind of competitive or kind of manipulative, kind of deceptive. And eventually people get tired of it. And people wish them peace and they move on to go find people who are willing to work through those issues, to become free of them, to go with them on a journey in a deep, meaningful relationship. But they've got to want to even see that they would benefit if they work through some things that manipulate them. And it could just be they're just so caught up in the world. It's like a drug. Enough's never enough. I need more money. I need more status. I need more attention. Look at those other people. But they could think that other people, if they don't really believe in love and they think everybody is wearing a false mask and just manipulating other people, they could be mad that other people seem to get what they want. But what they don't get is everybody else isn't wearing a mask. Other people are being authentic. And with love, they are working together with people in a just and fair and loving way. And some of these people just do not get it because that's not what they think, because they just don't look at life that way. you know? And probably what will happen if they keep living their life this way is they will find people in the world who are probably on the same page as them, that want to be in a relationship with them. If they keep trying to, like, I have a good idea, I might feel left out in the cold and heartbroken, and I haven't learned to love myself. I know I'm going to go on a journey to try to get a loving person who might be stressed out because something they were working in didn't work out. I'll try to get them in a relationship with me. That'll be perfect. They'll be a loving, nurturing, supportive person in my life. And yeah, they might move forward with them in a relationship, having hope and faith and belief and love. But this person, they don't want to incorporate that way of being within themselves. And then eventually those people are probably going to leave. And until they're willing to see the truth that not everybody views life the way they do, other people have tried to help them work through their lack mentality, their heartbreak, get more connected in with their emotions and their intuition, and they keep maybe kind of refusing to do it. Well, eventually some of the people who are willing to stay in a relationship with them might harness a more worldly, shadowy Scorpio energy like them, that also kind of likes to keep their emotions buried beneath the surface. Also might be more comfortable in a more emotionally shallow, superficial life. And then, that's the life they'll have. It might be based a little bit more on this makes practical, logical sense. Now we both can keep ourselves safe. Neither one of us really have to do love. But then they could be jealous and envious of people who really do seem to have authentic, warm, loving relationships. Well, they could have the free will to be that kind of person. They just have to be willing to do this work within themselves, offer themselves love to work through those issues, to be willing to be more authentic in the world instead of letting their defensive, egoic nature run their life. And if they don't, then people might be in a relationship with them more for the status, the ego, the image, or just we're on the same page kind of emotionally. And they could be mad because they want what other people have, but they're not willing to invest in growing and maturing themselves to be that type of person in a way. They'd have to offer love to their self-protective, defensive nature, work through why they're so maybe jealous or envious of other people, and realize it is a process. Other people just didn't pop out of the womb necessarily that way. Other people went through difficult situations, but they didn't give up on themselves. They didn't let other hurtful, unkind people make them quit believing in love. When did these people give up on love? When did they let hurtful, unkind people make them quit believing in themselves and believing in their dreams? And they'd have to be willing to look at that. And it does take a lot of work and effort to work through all those fears and insecurities of trusting other people and seeing that not everybody's the same. What is the difference between some of the people in my life who are hurtful, unkind, immature, bossy, controlling, prideful, egotistical, superficial, shallow? Do I think everyone's in the world like that? No. Have I seen differences in how people are? Yes. Am I willing to quit, just connect in with my emotions more, get more balance within myself instead of my fear so that I can be more connected in with my intuition to figure out the difference between people. And, we also got to see the truth about ourselves, how we could contributed to relationships not working out. And sometimes some people don't want to see the truth about themselves. And so then they keep being these same ways of being in a relationship, which could be stubborn, which could be prideful, which could, because you got to get out of your ego to even admit I have some lessons learned, or I would benefit from maybe kind of looking at things differently. But some people are very prideful and egotistical, and some people think they're the cat's pajamas. I am just and fair. People should view me as just and fair. It's like, well, you can keep viewing yourself as just and fair all you want. But if you're stubborn and prideful, not very connected in with your emotions or your intuition, live more from your mind than your heart, are competitive, egotistical, don't trust people, well, you can be as just and fair as you think you want to be, but those ways of being affect how you interact in a relationship. And other people see it even if you don't. How differently do you act in a relationship if I have some hope and faith and belief and love? And I don't get all caught up in my head and my fear that other people are going to abandon me or break my heart. How differently do you act in a relationship if it's like, you know what? I'm not going to get all caught up in my head. I'm going to maintain balance within myself. I'm going to go on this journey and just go with the flow and see how things go. And as long as they seem to be loving and supportive and encouraging, I'm going to enjoy the relationship. But some people have a real hard time with that because they just don't trust other people. Well, who are the people who maybe could mostly likely not trust people? Could be people who know that they're kind of creating an illusion. They're not being truthful and honest and authentic. So then they're worried that other people are just creating an illusion and manipulating them and not being authentic. So there you go. So I think some high vibe people are going to go find some other high vibe people to be in a relationship with. They'll maybe be jealous. They don't understand. Why'd you pick those people versus me? I might seem to act this certain way, have all these things of the world. People should want to be in a relationship with me. It's like, you don't get it. Those people aren't, high vibe energies, being truthful, honest, just, fair, treating other people the way you want to be treated from love, being authentic. And these other people are trying to play that role, and it's just not authentic. It's like reading from a script, putting on a show. And people in their soul can kind of feel, I don't really feel like I have a deep, meaningful relationship with you. You might do all the right things, you might act all the right way, but at a soul, intuitive gut feeling, I think more what drives and motivates you is not love. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.